Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with today's trading action. All right, the best starting point, come back to the yesterday's data, see what happened and see what everything is doing. Now, Canadian inflation numbers, as I expected, totally on par. Like the market has factored in weaker numbers. We basically got them, the Bank of Canada core numbers, the year-on-year. Inflation's just falling in Canada. And so there's been no change to the expectations from the central bank. If I just look at the Bank of Canada here, cut 96% factored in, right? So that is what is going to happen. Now, the big sort of focus for most of the market is the Fed, right? The FOMC minutes on, I think it's Thursday. Now, the central bank is expected to cut rates, 32% chance of a 50 basis point cut. Some people are sort of thinking that there's going to be some sort of miracle announcement or details in the minutes. I don't think so, right? They come out. They are very transparent with what's going on. So what we are seeing is the real move in the dollar has finally sort of appeared. And it's after all the rubbish around like the Bank of Japan trying to push down the dollar and this, that, and the other. And we saw a ricochet in the US in like the dollar after the weaker US inflation numbers. Basically, we've had all the old stale positions taken out. And it's like a fire going through the forest. You get the fire through, then there's fresh regeneration and there's fresh movement. And that's what we're seeing at the moment. These are pure trending markets. There's no dramatic moves. There's no big crazy extensions. And you sort of get that in week 3, week 4 of each month, right? But now we are seeing consistency across the board. Dollar CAD, well, sort of caught between a rock and a hard place. Oil is falling. And then you've got the sort of dollar falling, but the CAD data getting in the way. That's why I sort of cancelled yesterday's inflation number sort of session, because that's way too tricky. Whereas you look at euro, you look at sterling, you look at the Aussie now, and even the Kiwi, these things are heading for the hills, right? So that's what we've got to work with, right? And I'll be covering a training session on this tomorrow on trading the trend or sideways moving markets, how to take advantage of these markets, because there's cash in them. But if you just sat around and sort of waited for the technical levels to come back up, you're going to miss most of the action. So I'll cover that tomorrow. But where is the action today, right? If you just come into the economic calendar, okay, very quickly, just having a look across the board, and there's not, you know, I'm sort of looking at a whole range of different things. If I can just get up, I might just bring across here. Trading economics, just make it a little bit easier to see the cross section as opposed to the other calendar there. So just having a look at this week's numbers, right? It's, as I said, it's the 3rd week of the month. We've got a bit of a transition at the end of this week. The RBA minutes, basically, they just came out and said the same thing, right? That they're staying put until inflation goes lower. We've had the Canadian inflation numbers. Yep, tick. That's come and gone. No changes. Today, balance of trade in Japan, nothing there. You know what? There's not a lot to get excited about, right? And if anything, the FOMC minutes, well, that's the sort of main game. But really, it's very rare that the minutes have something else for us besides the same dribble that came out before. So when you are looking at the markets today, don't get overly excited, right? Because there's not a hell of a lot on offer. If anything, what that does for the general trading opportunities, these trends, because there's no trend lines around, will continue, right? They should just continue on their merry way. Now, it is a little bit tricky to get into these things, right? Because they're sort of like in the middle of nowhere, right? I still think dollar CAD's a little bit too hard, but as I said, I'll be covering a session on this tomorrow. It is probably going to open up your eyes to a bunch of things. If I just get that page up. Okay. This is an important part of actually being able to build capital whilst we have got trending markets. Now, the key to this is, right, there's a few components. I won't sort of spoil it for you, but the traders who have access to the live trading and coaching and the masterclass, get into this one, because this is going to be a bit of a game changer, right? I'm going to show you some intricate details of how the traders at the banks would do this, right? And if you understand how trends work, and how the market moves, you're going to be able to jump on these and start to make some cash. It does take a bit more time in front of the screens, but you know what? If you're making money, why not? All right, guys. Well, that's it from me. Not a huge amount on the actual trading front today, except go with the trend. Sell rallies or look to sell on when the market's a bit overbought. All right. Look forward to speaking to you tomorrow. Cheerio.